Welcome everybody back to La Center Church today. I'm Pastor Daniel and this is Pastor Mike. We are glad you guys are tuning in.
And we wanted to just kind of review a little bit from Sunday, some of the things that we were talking about in our service on Sunday, and part of that related to justice being delayed. And in our culture, in our society, it seems like it takes a while for justice to take place, and especially in relationship to sin. And how do we deal with that?
When there's a delay in sin, one of the things that happens is we think that we have a license to sin. And that's one of the problems, because when no consequences are happening, people think that they can continue to get away with whatever they're doing. Unfortunately, that is seeing things from a very horizontal, earthly perspective, instead of maybe a more vertical perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting, Daniel, because in verse 12 of chapter 8, he says this. He says, "Though a sinner does evil 100 times and prolongs his life, yet I know that it will be well for those who fear the Lord, because they fear before him." So he's starting to bring back the horizontal or the vertical in this relationship. He says, even though there's a lot of sin going on, a lot of evil, those that have that relationship with God, that fear him, is going to be well for them. So what does he mean by fear? What do you think he means? What is another example?
So the idea of fear can be seen all throughout the New and Old Testament. And one of the things is it's talking about reverence, respect. And in Leviticus, we see it as well in verse 3 of 19. "Every one of you shall revere his mother and his father, and you shall keep my Sabbath, for I am the Lord your God." That word reverence is actually the exact same word that's used for fear right here. And as it's coming up to Mother's Day, we should show a certain amount of reverence to our mothers and fathers, especially our mothers at this time period, and that's a good thing.
And in a parallel passage to that, it says to honor your father and your mother. And so reverence and honor kind of go hand in hand. So as we take actions to honor our parents, we are showing that reverence, and as we fear the Lord, we take actions to honor him. Another passage that was very interesting, I found that the same word fear, it says, "Blessed is the man who fears the Lord," this is in Psalm 112, "who greatly delights in his commandments." So what we find there is a parallel statement, is the person that fears the Lord delights in God's word. And so as we have that relationship with God, we love his word, we're delighting in it, we're doing our best to obey it, that's showing fear to the Lord. Which is
Absolutely. On the next thing, one of the things we're going to be talking about is Kidstown TV. I've watched some of them and they've been awesome. Being able to reconnect our elementary school age kids to the gospel and to the Bible is an awesome opportunity. Now, we know that there's been a few bugs in the system, and we're working on those, and hopefully soon we're going to be able to get them fixed. However, each week we intend to make it better and more engaging for the kids. With that said, feel free to invite those kids around you that may need something like this to encourage them. There's a lot of stuff on TV they shouldn't be watching. This is something you know that's going to be good for them. So invite kids to join in.
Tune in at 9:30 Sunday morning, and they will be there on Kidstown TV. So we are excited about the possibility of reopening our church.
Very much so.
And it's, we're missing this relationship that we have. And with the governor's new recommendations that he has, is we can meet with 5 people plus our family. So, for Carol and I, that's like 7 people can get together. And we did that actually on last night as we had our growth group. We kind of sat out in your courtyard area with Margie and Carol and I, and we had our growth group out. We had our blankets on, and we enjoyed some time face to face. So start doing those things. Start getting together with people in the church and giving the distances. We were about 12 feet apart, I think.
Easy 12 feet.
So we gave plenty of space. And the next stage, what's going to happen next? What are we looking forward to?
Well, the next stage after the 5 is possibly 10 people meeting in the room plus your family, which for us, that's many of the growth groups completely. And so what we're going to try to do is create house church, is where we can stream the service all together. And I find this is so much better than just doing it by yourself, because you have that natural fellowship with those that are around you and you're able to worship. And so when the invitation or the recommendation is 10 people in a room, we're going to try to extend that to different groups. So maybe your home group can meet together on Sunday morning and worship together watching the service.
So that takes us back to the early days of Acts, and the congregation met in homes.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
they enjoyed fellowship together, and they enjoyed meals together. And so we want to kind of replicate that when we start to reopen again. So we want to have these home groups worshiping the Lord, enjoying fellowship and meals together. And then after that, the next step is 50 people that can gather at one time. And so our church is bigger than 50.
Yes, quite a bit
So how are we
bigger.
going to deal with that?
So one of the things we're going to do is, I know there's going to be a few people that are going to be tentatively may not want to join in right away, but we're going to split our church into 2 services. So there's going to be plenty of room for you to socially distance while being here at the church facility. So probably we'll do one maybe around 9 or so.
I imagine so. It'll be an early service.
Early service and then a second service. And so we'll split the congregation in 2 so that everyone can come in and join in and have fellowship on Sunday morning. So that's something we're really excited to see happen.
So the potential is, Daniel, is we may get more than 50 people at one of the services. And
Yeah.
so one of the things we will be doing to kind of, again, comply with the directives that were given is we will have an overflow room where we can put 50 in the sanctuary area and then maybe 50 in the fellowship hall or one of the rooms like that, so that there will be that opportunity still to gather together and to enjoy each other's presence and worship the Lord together. So we're excited about that potential. Other things that are coming up down the road that we are looking forward to that we've had to move because of this virus crisis that we're in is our Vacation Bible School. We had that planned originally for about the 2nd, 3rd week of July, and that's not going to happen.
No, it's not. And I was really excited to get involved with VBS. And VBS for us, Atlas Center Church, is our largest ministry into our local community. And so to not see it happen would be kind of a really hard thing. So we're still toying with the idea. We don't actually have a 100% set date, but we're looking to August 17th through the 21st. It's a little bit later. People may be more comfortable with letting their kids do this. We would like to hear some of your feedback on that and if you're willing to get involved. So please reach out to us so we can find out more information and who's willing to be involved.
And that's really the first week right before school starts.
Yeah.
And so kids are going to be excited to go back to school, and so we think that will be a good week that we can have our Vacation Bible School. That next Sunday, August 23rd, we've moved our Horseshoe Lake baptismal service to August 23rd. And so that's always been a highlight to be able to baptize in the summer. And I know we have some folks, some young people that have trusted Jesus this year that want to be baptized. And so we're looking for at the 23rd. We haven't locked down at Horseshoe Lake right now. So these are all tentative yet, but we are looking forward to when we can gather together as a church again. We wanted to share those things with you just to encourage you. So this coming Sunday, we have the opportunity to worship together on Mother's Day. And so one of the things we want you to do for us to help us in this is we want you to create a little short video clip of a memory of Mom and send it to Jacera, preferably through Facebook, because that's the best means where we can get a good resolution of the video clip. And so think of something that triggers a memory for your mom, and then take and share that memory with us through that video. And we want to kind of splice those together on for our service on Sunday. So we, and then tell your mom to watch it if she's still alive. Tell her to clue in, to tune in on our Facebook Live or our website or our app.
One of the things we like to do at Les Center Church is build community and keep the fellowship together. So sending these videos in will allow others inside the church be able to see others inside the church and see how they're doing and learn a little bit about them in the relationship with their mom. And like Mike said, please try to do this either today, but no later than tomorrow morning. So jump on this because we have to get this video edited and sent out for Mother's Day. So we're excited about that, and for those that are participating in that.
Now Mother's Day is the day that we're celebrating, but we are continuing our study in Ecclesiastes, which is kind of weird, and it's kind of an interesting book. And the beginning of that chapter that we're looking at, chapter 9, he again is talking about death, and how do we deal with that related to Mother's Day? So he moves from this whole picture of death being an equalizer, being a leveler of all mankind. We all face it. We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And so then he brings up the issue of how do we live for today? What difference does it make? How do we function knowing that maybe tomorrow will be gone? And so what are some of your thoughts?
And one of my thoughts when it comes to this, and I see this throughout the book of Ecclesiastes, is because death is the equalizer and it can come at any time, do the things that are meaningful this side of eternity. We often, once again, like to do things that are very much horizontal, under the sun kind of things. What Solomon, I really think, is trying to get across is we need to do the things that are vertical, that have implications that are eternal. And so that's something that I think is very important. And being a mom is one of those things.
Yeah, and one of the things that he says, and you're going to see this, he says to enjoy life, So we are to live in the present. He says to enjoy the food you eat, the things that you drink, the clothing that you put on, getting ready in the morning, getting all cleaned up, whatever those things. Enjoy those experiences and give your heart to work, do heartily. And then he says to enjoy the wife that you have, or the relationships that God has put you in. Those are God's gifts to us, and we are to enjoy them in the present, and not worry about tomorrow too much, but to get involved today and those things. And God has given us those as gifts.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions or topics you want us to discuss, please feel free to contact us either through our email or text message. Thank you so much, and we're super excited to see you guys this Sunday, Mother's Day. Have a wonderful day.